Hello and welcome to Echo at Africa, the environment magazine coming to you from Nigeria, Kenya and Germany. I'm Neil Taigbe and my colleague joins us from Nairobi, Joy Doreen. Hello, Joy.
Hello there, NT, and yes, indeed, it is another warm welcome to another edition of Echo at Africa. My name is Joy Doreen Bira, coming to you from Nairobi, Kenya, and this is what we have coming up for you on the show today. We travel to the stunning Amboseli National Park in Kenya, where locals and elephants live alongside one another. We find out how a mobile app in Germany is helping to prevent food wastage. And in Morocco, we're catching a ride in an electric car to explore how the country's transport system is going green.
So, I'm looking at the waves from here. I've been restricted from going into that area, as you can see the fences there, for one reason or the other, security concerns, safety reasons, but the coastline is being eroded. There are those who have risen up in activism about this and what should be done about it. But that's not where we're going to today. We caught up with a young lady, Chima George, who is an environmental activist. She's concerned about climate financing. She's concerned about the deteriorating conditions in the Niger Delta. What's being done about it? What can be done about it? Well, we did catch up with her in a quiet and serene place, and Chima George tells us what she's been doing and what she thinks others can do for the environment.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so very quick, what do you do?
I'm starting a consultancy and we work on climate finance and how Africans, Nigerians can access more climate finance. So I'm an activist, I'm a researcher, and yeah, that's about what I do.
I won't ask you how old you are, but for a young person who, I mean, you have the world ahead of you, why would you take up activism?
I was fascinated about the environment when I was younger. The colors of lizard is so colorful, it's so beautiful sometimes. But I was also sad when I went to Niger Delta, Port Harcourt, and saw where all the money Nigeria has came from. And you just saw such underdevelopment in such areas. So it's really sad. When I go to the beach and the beach is no more there, Alpha Beach, so it's sad. So someone has to talk about it.
How can we encourage other young people to get involved? I mean, to look at how to encourage the larger society to buy into this climate change matter and other environmental issues?
We are the ones going to face the impact of climate change. We are the younger ones, so we are the ones who should be included in all the decision-making processes. We should be included in all the stakeholder engagements so that we have our voice. We can, because it's easier with social media coming up. Everybody shares things. It's easier to follow up on what is happening.
You've traveled around the world, almost around the world. You were recently in Germany and in other countries. What did you go to do in Germany?
Oh, I went there as a climate witness to speak about climate change, migration. We have a lot of activists in Germany that are working towards shutting coal factories and industries. So they brought us there, me and another person from the Philippines, to talk about how climate change impacts us, how we have felt climate change, so that they can have sympathy and empathy and they can know what their emissions is causing in the other parts of the continent.
Did you think that anything you said there made any sense?
No, it made a lot of impact because some studies, some G7 studies say that Germany, the G7 countries contribute about 50% to emissions, historical emissions. So we can say they are responsible for climate change. So they should take up their responsibility and help other countries that are still trying to develop.
We heard our government talk about coal as a source of generating power. Is there anything we can do to discourage that?
It's not a good idea for Nigeria to go into coal. But I'm positive. After the climate change conference in Morocco, the government of Nigeria met with the government of Morocco in Nigeria, and I think there are a lot of partnerships in the way for solar energy and for renewable energy. There's also a word of renewable energy in the northeast. So there's a lot of things on the ground, and we're hoping with good advisors and with focus, purpose, and the interest of the people at heart, our leaders will make the right choices and right decisions. They've done well, and we hope they continue doing better.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's move to Kenya and a new partnership at the Amboseli National Park. Joy, you want to tell us what's happening there?
Well, the African Wildlife Foundation is busy setting up a network between the Maasai community and a safari operator, all in an effort to protect the animals that inhabit the reserve. Here is more.
When the sun rises here, in southern Kenya, elephants make their way to the watering hole, no matter what season it is. In the Satawa Elarai Conservatory, they can't count on finding water. The private conservation area is home to diverse flora and fauna. The elephants and other species like zebra and the wildebeest use the corridor to migrate between Tanzania and Kenya. However, human settlement and agriculture poses a threat to the ecosystem. In order to protect the wildlife, the African Wildlife Foundation decided to partner with the local Maasai community.
I think it's long been recognized that government alone cannot effectively steward natural resources. And people have begun to talk about the need for involving the local people who live and depend on the natural resources in the conservation of those resources. I think that's a much more sustainable angle of conservation.
Together with the African Wildlife Foundation, the Maasai devised a land use plan. Now, one part of the area is reserved for agriculture and settlement, and another part is reserved for conservation. A small luxury lodge was set up to develop tourism. At several €100 a night, a room here doesn't come cheap. Yet, the lodge attracts tourists from all over the world.
The environment, the majestic mountain who suddenly comes up, yeah, it's always beautiful, and certainly in the early morning hours when it is just there in its grandeur, yeah, and the environment just stunning. Typical Amboseli look, the elephants in a row, Kilimanjaro behind. That's holiday, yeah?
The lodge not only benefits wildlife and tourists, it also benefits the community. The lodge has earned the community over €470,000 so far. Part of the revenue is used to fund community projects such as a school, a well, and husbandry services. The lodge also trains and employs about 25 members of the local community.
I'm one of the beneficiaries of this program. I make the beads you see at the souvenir shop at the lodge. Even the cattle you see at the borehole. We bought those with money we got from the lodge because I'm one of the shareholders.
Since the lodge has been set up, many locals have become more environmentally aware. What used to be viewed as a threat is now regarded as a valuable source of income.
I personally love elephants. I love them because when most tourists come here, they come to see the elephants. And truthfully, even in the conventions we've attended, we see that the elephant has the most value. So we're more protective over them than we are of the other animals.
Solving human-wildlife conflict is not easy, but the Elarai Conservancy shows that it is possible. Protected areas make up 1/10 of Kenya's territory, and the human population keeps on increasing. So it is crucial to find solutions that benefit both humans and wildlife.